Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Some of y'all, peace out to the rest of y'all. Blackest hearted, blackest minded, blackest men on social media signing black in, asking you to hit that share button because the message is more important than the messenger. Now, to be honest with you, gentlemen, I was not really apt to go ahead and do the peace greeting this time because I'm talking to you about the war effort. But since I'm not recording the message with hostility against the audience, I just went ahead and recorded or included the peace greeting with it. But don't get it twisted. This is not a message about peace. Listen up. What Bumble did is just part of a pattern. Bumble's one platform. But understand the pattern and the context in which they did it. And most of you do understand the pattern and context, and I'm glad for that. The problem here is this. It is the pattern. What Bumble, I want you to look closely at what Bumble is doing. And I want to give a shout out to somebody that sent a video clip of an operation that was done to remove a giant artificial dong from a patient. I don't know the gender of the patient. I'm hoping that the gender of the patient is female. But the point is, there was an operation done to remove one of those things from the inside of a patient. Apparently got stuck. I don't know how. I'm not going to ask any more questions. What I'm getting at is that even the use of that was part of the war. You see, when you think about it as a man that's heterosexual, of course, sexually speaking, the entire environment is at war with you. The hetero woman is at war with you. The goal of her war, as I've said, is to eliminate most of you genetically, but to include most of you financially in the rearing of the children that she has deemed fit to breed. The woman that is not interested in men is probably at war with you. Maybe not, but certainly they are cannon fodder for the war effort against you, because those women, while they never approached men when they were living as heteros, whether they knew their orientation or not, once they went into other women, half of them, at least, learn how to approach other women. So in other words, you got a whole entire group of women that could never approach a man, but they will approach women because they have to. I mean, for two women to get together, somebody's got to make the approach. You are being told at every turn that you are negatively valued right off the bat. Then there are men that are only interested in men, and they will approach you at least half the time. There are those who will not. There are those who will approach you. Most actually will not approach you because you're not into that, but there are those of them who will make that approach, either because they don't know which one you are or because they don't mind approaching men that aren't into men. But the point I'm making is that the entire environment has offered you every option that is not natural for you. Every single one. You could be approached by a dude. Most approaches that you make to women are going to fail. And women value each other more than they value you right off the bat. You are the least valued. Being a heterosexual man, you are the least valued. Right off the bat. Until you leave the West, of course. And even then, it depends on where you go. But what Bumble did is only a part of that. See, Bumble is pretty much saying, okay, we have a platform in which you get approached as a man. But if you have standards, no. We're not going to allow that. Your standards are phobias. Her standards are empowerment and liberation. You understand now? They're pretty much participating in this war against you. Now, when you stop and think about it, the only objective that this war is going to serve to you is to put you in every situation in which you don't want to be. Spending your money and not even able to enjoy any form of intimacy, or hell, even non-sexually, you cannot enjoy the other parts of the relationship because she's going to have something wrong with her. Or he will have something wrong with the her that he thinks she is, if you catch my drift. In other words, if you're not willing to date women that were not born as women, or men who have not yet become women surgically, if you're not willing to date them, you're a problem. That's an issue for you. So They're treating you like a problem. They're banning you. Now, I'm not saying that they're banning you, even though as a Muslim, I don't believe in these dating sites anyway. The issue is that they're not doing that for any religious reasons. They're banning you as part of the war effort against you, to further devalue you so that you will be convinced, and the society along with you will be convinced, that you only deserve what no other man wants for himself. That's it. If she has options, you don't deserve her. If she doesn't have options, only then do you deserve her. That's what they want you. They're trying to drive this message into you. Now, that you understand this, because Bumble is a platform in which men get approached, they're pretty much saying to you, you should never be approached by a normal heterosexual quality woman, even of a decent quality. Absolutely not. No. They've set up the platform already, and they understand that on the platform, the ones who have the most motive to approach you are the ones they just told you that you have to be willing to accept if you want to even be on that platform. That's what they're saying to you. You don't deserve decent options. Now, I'm not against women approaching men. I'm not against women asking men for marriage. I think it's great when any context forces that. Bumble is specifically for that. It shows us a lot of things about them. It actually shows the men the value that they don't have, because when they have to approach you, they can't come up with any creative way to do it. They don't know how to do it because there's no right way to approach them. Think about it. I can't approach a man. Oh, that's simple. Think about the correct way for a man to approach you. Do that to the man. Why not start there? If I can't do it, that means there's no correct way. Now, these environments do show that. The requirement, the pressure on them to approach a man exposes this. I'm glad for it. However, what they're saying is, well, now that we have this could conceivably be an advantage for men, so we're going to remove that advantage. Now, you will only, because what they understand and what's going to happen next is, and what may already be happening, is you will only be approached by women that aren't really women to begin with, or women that weigh twice what you weigh, or something else that's seriously wrong and they can't get anybody. That's the end of it. Now, I said that this is part of the war effort. And as I've said before, the war effort is to financially include men that are genetically excluded. That's what the war effort is. To take as much financially from you and non-sexually from you for the benefit of the children that they have, the benefit of the children of the men that they have deemed sexually worthy to breed. You then should be bound and obliged to feed. Now, in this war effort, shout out to Coach Greg Adams. He did say something, and that is, it ain't over. Men ain't won much. And we're making headway, but understand, that doesn't mean we won anything. It isn't over until their war fails. It is not over until the laws have been changed. It is not over until even the culture and the sexual markets have been changed to where you are no longer negatively valued by default, but rather you are valued equally to the women, sexually and non-sexually. Until that day, it's not over. And some of you are going to say, how are we ever going to be valued sexually equally to women? It's simple. It's up to you. Now, men think that we can't do that. We think we can't. But that's going to come through mastery of the libido. You're not really facing a situation in which you've got some kind of other options. You don't really have that. There's nothing that's going to force that except for mastering and reducing the libido. Now, women don't have reduced libidos per se. They're just picky. That's what you need to understand. They have a harder time actually living celibate than men do. That's why they don't live celibate. When they're single, they're still riding a cock carousel. They're just not riding it with you, or me for that matter. And they don't have to ride it with any particular individual. The point I'm making is that that's what they're doing even when they say that they're single in many cases. And now you wind up with a scenario in which the highest body counts are held by a few men. Now, I'm not saying that there's an 80-20 rule literally. But in terms of men who have the highest body counts, that's a minority. Second highest body counts are held by the majority of women, and the lowest body counts are held by the majority of men. That's what we're dealing with. And that's because, again, men as a rule are negatively valued. So until men learn to withhold sexually and non-sexually their value or the things that are valuable, there's not going to be a way that they're going to learn the lesson. And even if you legislatively change certain things, culturally you must, so that the law does not go back to what they are right now. It ain't over. It's not over until we win or we die. And it's like that with any war. We're right and they're wrong. We're reasonable and they're unreasonable. So until the good guy wins, the war ain't over. And in this case, literally about 2/3 of the guys are the good guys. Thank you for listening. Black heart, black mind, blackout. Assalamu alaikum, and black heterosexual non-select male power just because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction of judgment day.